Where do you go when you want to try a true locals Cantonese roast meats restaurant? Today, I visit such a place. Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show. If you have a minute, I have an opinion. Today, I'm taking you deep into New York's Chinatown, trying a local Chinese restaurant that many tourists don't visit. This restaurant does a big takeout business, and today, we will find out why. I will try several of their dishes, and one with true homemade taste. Finally, I'll tell you which dish is the star of the show. Come join me and let's give this place a try. Hi, this is Arthur from the Minute Review Show. Today, I'm on East Broadway in Manhattan's Chinatown. This area is known as the Fujianese part of Chinatown. It's been that way since the 1990s. It's a pretty old part of Chinatown also. Today, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to order a bunch of stuff from a restaurant called Xing Wong. Xing Wong has been around since the 1990s, and they specialize in Cantonese roast meats. I've been here a couple of times in the past. I've always felt that the roast meats were worth trying, and today I'm going to introduce you to some of their roast meat dishes. What I'm going to do also is that I'm going to show you their menu, so check it out. Okay, now let's take a look at their menu. They don't have a regular inside the restaurant menu. They just have their takeout menu, which is this one. And I found it right there, right on the table. So here goes. The first page of the menu, it's a trifold menu. They have their kanji. Now this is a Hong Kong focused restaurant. So here are their 15 different types of kanji. You have their soup noodles. There's their wonton soup, which is only about $10. Nothing here goes over $12, so these are all combinations of noodles and some proteins. Next, we have their appetizers, which are all their roast meats, and they have a pretty good selection here. The only thing that I don't see is that they don't have roast pig, but they have all the other stuff. Here you have the fried rice, their meats and vegetables on white rice, which are all between $8 to $13. Here's a rice noodle dish, which is basically all their My Fun dishes, their rice noodle dishes. And then here's their Hong Kong style pan-fried noodles section. And over here, it goes beyond only the crunchy fried noodles that you expect. They have stuff like chow My Fun, some filet fish Buddhist delight pan-fried noodles, just a whole bunch of different stuff here. Next we have the Hong Kong style noodles, and I'm pretty sure these are the noodles where they are dry noodles with a bowl of soup on the side. You have the hot rice dishes, and these are a bargain. They're all $9. So they have a great selection of proteins and vegetables over rice. Next we have the breakfast specials. Now these are all the chung fun, the rice rolls and fried dough, and those are probably only available in the morning. And then you have the hot rice entrees. Here's a bunch of other ones. They're $9 to $12. So all in all, if you combine this hot rice dish and that hot rice dish side, there's gotta be at least 60 different dishes. That's huge. I wanted to mention a little bit about this part of East Broadway. Now, we're on the, let's say, eastern side of East Broadway, which is past the Manhattan Bridge. This part of Chinatown used to have a lot of people. It seems a little less crowded now for some reason, but there are a lot of Cantonese restaurants. Right across the street is King's Kitchen. You can check that restaurant out in one of my reviews. I reviewed that earlier, and it's a great restaurant. Now, this restaurant, Xing Wong, is right across the street. And this restaurant, I think, opened like in the late 90s. And next to it, on the same side of East Broadway, was a place called Tin Wong. Now, the funny thing is that I also made a review of Tin Wong, but not the one that's here. The one here is closed. For some reason, their storefront is just all boarded up and there's nothing there now. And but their sign is still up there. But they moved over to Hester Street, and you can find that review in another video of mine. But in any case, this was basically a Cantonese stronghold, and a lot of these businesses seem to have endured. Now, I also remember back in the 90s, there were a lot of Fujianese restaurants around the area, and but I don't know, those don't seem to have lasted as long. In any case, these restaurants, King's Kitchen and Xing Wong, they're still here. So if you want your Cantonese fix along this side of East Broadway, you can come here and you can get food at very, very reasonable prices. Just remember that the food that I showed you before, the plate rices are all between $9 to $12, so you can still get great deals here. Okay, I ordered a wonton soup without the noodles. So this is just a wonton with broth, and this soup is steaming hot. You can see the steam coming off the soup. Now, there's a wonton broth along with these scallions. And let's take a look at the wontons. The wontons appear to be about 1.25 inches in diameter. How many do they give me? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they give me 8 wontons, and this bowl costs about $10. So what we're going to do is that we're going to cut this in half and take a look at what's inside. Okay, now let's take a look at the wonton. I took one out of the bowl and I'm going to cut this into half. Now this wonton has a yellow wrapper. This is the southern Cantonese type wonton skin, is not the white ones. So let's break this open and let's crack it open and see what they have. And wow, this is very nice. I can see that they have the chopped up bits of shrimp in here along with the pork. And I really love this. Actually, this is very old school smelling. There's a nice waft of sesame oil and white pepper that's coming to me. So this actually tastes like a, not tastes like a, but looks like a very old school type wonton. So I can't really wait to try this because this is probably going to give me the taste of old Chinatown. The first dish I'm going to try is the wonton soup. Now the wonton soup comes in a pretty big bowl. There's about 8 wontons in the soup. It's only about $10, so not bad. Let's try the soup first. Okay, I'm smelling it, and let's try it. Okay, this soup has a more meaty flavor to it. Not much of that fishy smell that you normally get with a real wonton soup. I'm not saying that this isn't real, but this is a different way of making wonton soup. It doesn't have any of the fishy smell. It's more like a meat-based soup, although the color resembles the regular wonton soup. So let's take a look at the wonton itself. It's about 1.5 inches to 1.25 inches. Let's try this. These wontons have a very homemade quality to it, which is a great thing. To me, it's very old-fashioned. There's a large hint of sesame oil, of a little bit of white pepper, and also nice salt component to it. And not only that, what I like about this wonton is that the pork has enough fat in it, combined with the little bits of shrimp in here. So yeah, everything is in good proportion in this wonton. The most enduring quality about this wonton is the homemade flavor to it. It really has a strong homemade flavor to it. I really like this. I ordered the roast duck appetizer, and the roast duck appetizer is about $11, I believe. And this is, let's say, about 7 to 8 inches worth of meat. There's 2 sections. Over here, I can see that this is a leg. This part appears to be a back, and this appears to be the breast. So let's take a quick look. I'm gonna touch this and see what it's like. And yes, you can see that this is very supple, lots of juice in there. And let's take a look at another piece to make sure that it's nice and soft. And yeah, this piece appears to be super soft. There's so much liquid in here. So they all look really good. And now let's touch this piece of skin. The skin is nice and crackly, which is what we want. It looks actually a little darker than normal, but I'm not saying that the flavor is not going to be good, but this is actually very promising looking, and it smells really good too. Okay, the next dish I'm going to try is the roast duck. Now this is what it looks like, and this is a pretty good portion. Once again, it's in the appetizer section for $11. So the first piece I'm going to try is the duck breast, which is usually the most telltale sign of a good roast duck. So I'm going to use my fingers. Hope you don't mind. Let's give this a try. It is wonderful. The roast duck is totally moist, really good. What I like about this roast duck is that the moisture retention is really good. It has the nice strong flavor of duck, and also the skin is nice and crispy. It's been hanging on the window there for a while, I can tell, but still, you can still taste some of the crispiness of the skin. Not only that, all the moisture has been retained. Now, about the flavor is not the most concentrated I ever had, but I would give it a 7 in terms of how much the flavor has permeated the meat. So this is actually pretty good. So in terms of the skin, the meat, and also the flavor, it's definitely very good. It's up there. Now, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try the one final piece, which is the back of the duck. So here's the duck back. Now this is more forward when it comes to the skin. Let's try this. If you like skin, that's your piece, because you can definitely taste more of the crispiness, and it's quite delicious. I really like that. What I feel is that it's a fair amount of food that you're getting for $11. You're getting some of the back, you're getting the breast, like maybe half a breast, and there's plenty of food here. Flavor is right, spot on. It's not the best I've ever had, but it is definitely serviceable and definitely delicious, for sure. I wanted to mention that this restaurant, although old, is very classic in look. It's actually pretty big. I see that there's about like 7 smaller tables and 2 large family-sized tables in here. Not only that, the waiters, some of them speak Chinese, some speak Mandarin, and some speak Cantonese. So that's pretty cool. And also, I see that there's a steady stream of customers here. Although there aren't many people sitting here eating with me today, it's about 6 o'clock on a weekday. They have a lot of business that's either phoned in or just walk-ins. So yeah, this place is busy. It may not look busy with the diners dining in, but they do a lot of takeout here. That's one thing that I noticed. The next dish that I asked for is the pork, the roast pork. Now this barbecue roast pork is about the same size, about 7 inches wide, about 4.5 inches long. I asked for the fatty and lean pork, so there should be some streaks of fat in here, and I do see it. I see it here also. It's not a brightly colored red, which is good. It's a very traditional looking barbecue roast pork. And let's squeeze it a little bit. Okay, when I squeeze it, you can see some of that liquid come out. And I'm doing the touch test here. Yeah, this one seems a little drier, but this one down here with the fat seems nice and moist. I can feel that. So we're gonna give this a try and see how it tastes. Okay, the next dish I'm gonna try is the tasio, or the barbecue roast pork. This is always one of my favorite dishes whenever I go to any restaurant. Now, Cantonese restaurants tend to make this with a very neutral colored bark. This is not a comically bright red. It's a muted red, which is what I usually look for. So let's give this a try. I asked for wonton, which is half lean, half fat. So let's try this. Okay, this particular piece is a little drier, even with that little piece of fat in it, but it's okay because the flavor is good. The marination has the right amount of sweetness and the right amount of saltiness to it, and it makes it very palatable. That's what I can say about the sweetness. It usually helps make the food more palatable. So let's try another piece here. I'm taking it from the bottom. It's from a different part of the pork. Let's try this. I can say the same thing about it. This other piece is a little more soft. Once again, we have the nice sweetness to the tasio, to the roast pork. This would definitely go well with a plate of rice. Although not the best I've ever had, this is a very good version of Cantonese roast pork. And yeah, I like it. This isn't bad. As if to accentuate the oldness of this restaurant, the music playing in the background is old school Mandarin Chinese music, Mandarin language Chinese music. So yeah, I don't think the music has changed much in the last 30 years. The next dish that we ordered is the ngao lam. Ngao lam is basically the beef stew. So this one is pretty interesting looking. You have a good combination of the actual beef with the non-beef parts, which is basically the membrane parts of the beef stew. So there's a pretty good combination of both. Now let's take a look at what we have here. Wow, this one is totally membrane, and this is totally beef. And it has a nice herbal smell to it. That's what beef stew normally tastes like and smells like. There are some beef stews that are a little darker than this. This is actually a lighter color. The beef stews that I'm used to have a darker soup or darker braise, but this is lighter braise, so this might be a little different, but it does smell correct. I do smell beef stew smell. So I can't wait to try this. The next dish I'm going to try is the beef stew. Now, this beef stew, I think it's only about $11, and they give you a good sized plate. What I had mentioned before is that the color is a little lighter than what I'm used to, but that doesn't mean that it's not good, so let's give this a try. I'm going to eat one that's equally parts membrane and parts beef. So this would give the best assessment. This has a very home-cooked taste to it. What I like about this beef is that it has a very beefy, almost a little gamey flavor to it that a lot of beef stews don't have. In fact, you feel like you're eating the beef freshly cut off the cow. I don't know how else to explain this, but it has a little bit of that gamey flavor to it that makes it very true to its source. Let's try another piece now. This piece I have pointed out before is almost all membrane. So let's try this out. This piece is very slippery looking. That piece easily bites. I bite into it, it's easy to chew. It tastes great and it's salted correctly. So this is actually really good. Let's go to the other extreme and just try this piece of beef. The beef with just the braising liquid. Let's try this. Okay. This particular beef is a little more chewy, but that's a given because it's just the beef. And with this, beef stew is usually made with brisket, so it requires a lot of braising. This is a little tougher than the other piece, but it's still braised well. I can still chew it. So, and the taste, once again, is just as good as the other pieces, like the membrane. So yeah, just imagine this in a bowl of soup or with rice. This would go well with either. So yeah, I really like this. This is not bad. And now it's time for your favorite part of the show. Ta-da! The star of the show. And today, the star of the show is something that brings back a lot of memories. And the reason why is because it tastes very homemade. It's something that I feel that I could have made even now. They do it well here and it tastes good, and you know, it just has the flavors that I like. So that star of the show is the wonton. And the reason why the wonton is my star of the show is because the flavors of that sesame oil, the nice quality of the ground pork that they use, and also the shrimp that they use, it's just perfect. It's just in the right proportions. It's the right size. These aren't oversized wontons. They're reasonably sized, and they're just good. There's nothing more that I can ask for because of that flavor, that memorable flavor that I have in this bowl. This is my star of the show. The meal is over, and what a meal. I had so many proteins in this one meal. I'm trying to eat low carb. I definitely had a great sample of their roast meats and also the beef stew and wonton. This restaurant is made for lunch, I feel, and quick dinners. You can basically get a meal with a protein over rice, protein over noodle, protein and kanji for $9 at a minimum. So this is really great. I'm witnessing a lot of customers coming in ordering those rice boxes and those noodle dishes. There's a constant flow of those people coming in. So this place is really a great takeout restaurant. I'm eating in this restaurant. I'm enjoying the food served on plates and everything. And yeah, this is definitely an average Cantonese restaurant. And that's not saying that it's bad. It's an average Cantonese restaurant that does the job. You will be full for a very low price. Another thing that I should mention is that this restaurant doesn't have waiters. What they do is that the people who are serving up front, who are chopping the meats, who are taking the cash, working as cashier and bagging the stuff, they do all the jobs in this restaurant. So the service might be a little slower because they're occupied up front, but it's okay. That's just to be expected because they don't have the manpower. But at the same time, the food is cheap, and what more can you ask when you come to a place like this? So if you happen to be in this part of Chinatown, stop by and get yourself a cheap lunch or a dinner. Thanks for watching the Minute Review Show. I appreciate every one of you. The channel is growing really quick. If there are any suggestions that you have, please email me. You know my email is minutereviewshow@outlook.com. And just send in any questions, anything that you would like. Also, if you want me to visit your restaurant, just let me know, and I'll give it a try. Just let me know if there's anything new that I should try. If you would like to help me with this channel and support the channel, please join my membership. The membership is right on my homepage. For as little as $3, you can help me keep this channel going. And finally, share this channel with your friends and subscribe. Thank you so much, and I will see you in my next video. The final bill before tip is $40.